Hey everyone! In the last video, we broke down the many layers of branding. Today, let's zoom in on the quietest yet most powerful one: brand dynamics. Brand dynamics is about how your brand behaves over time. You're not changing your logo or your name. You are simply evolving your tone, campaigns, content, or customer experience to stay relevant. For example, when Nespresso introduces a new capsule series or updates its new social media tone, that's brand dynamics in action. It's subtle, it's continuous, and it keeps your brand alive in culture. Now, this is different from a brand refresh, which is more about lightly updating how you look or sound. It's also different from a brand redesign, which is fully visual overhaul. From a rebrand, which changes your position and perception. And from a brand transformation, which goes deep into your entire business and brand structure. Most brands don't need a rebrand. They don't need to start over. They just need to move better, communicate smarter, and feel sharper in the moment. That's the quiet power of the brand dynamics. Hey friends, are you ready for the next layer? In the last two videos, we started unpacking the real layers of branding. First, we looked at the 5 types from dynamics all the way to transformation. Then, we zoomed in on the quiet force that keeps brands culturally alive, brand dynamics. Now, let's talk about brand refresh, the quiet middle ground that many overlook. A brand refresh isn't a full rebrand, it's not a redesign either. It's a light, intentional update to your visuals, your messaging, or both, to keep the brand feeling fresh, relevant, and in tune with the times. You might tweak the logo, update your color palette, adjust your tone of voice, or refine your tagline. But you're not changing your brand's core identity. You're simply realigning it with the moment. Okay, think of it like this. Your brand doesn't need a new face. It just needs to freshen up, fix its posture, and step back into the room with confidence. It's different from brand dynamics, which are ongoing behavioral shifts. Different from a redesign, which overhauls your visual system. Not as deep as a rebrand, which changes perception and positioning, and nowhere near as intensive as brand transformation, which goes all the way down to business structure and culture. A brand refresh is perfect when your brand still feels right at its core, but just needs a little polish to stay compelling. I know these terms sound kinda similar and it can get a bit confusing, but I hope I made it simple enough without missing the important stuff. If it helped, I'm glad. If not, no worries. We've got more videos coming to clear things up. Catch you in the next one. Hey friends, we are already at part 4 of this branding series, and today it's time to dress things up a bit, literally. Let's talk about brand redesign, when your brand doesn't need a new soul, just a new outfit. A brand redesign is a visual overhaul. You might update your logo, typography, color palette, or packaging, not because your strategy is wrong, but because your look feels outdated, inconsistent, or no longer scales across channels. Think of Burger King's updated logo, same values, same voice, but now with a cleaner, more modern identity that fits the times. But here is the distinction. It's not brand dynamics, which is about behavioral and communication shifts. It's not a brand refresh, which makes smaller, light updates to visuals and tone. It's not a full rebrand, where you change how people perceive you, and it's definitely not brand transformation, which goes all the way into business and culture change. Redesign is about staying visually relevant without having to reinvent your entire brand. When your message is right, your strategy is solid, but your look is falling behind, it might be time for a brand redesign. So, when your strategy is working, but your visuals just aren't keeping up, that's where a redesign steps in. In the next videos, we will dive deep into the bigger moves, rebranding and brand transformation, when brands need more than just a visual update. Hope this series has helped you make sense of the terms so far. Simple, clear, and easy to remember without mixing them up. See you in the next one. Hello to all my brand curious friends. I hope you have been enjoying the past videos. We've already talked about brand dynamics, refresh, and redesign. And today we're jumping into something bigger. Rebranding. Now, by this point, it's clear not every brand change is a rebrand. Rebranding is a different game. It's not just about how your brand looks, it's about where it's going. It's a full-on reset, a chance to change how people see you, to shift the story in their minds. Sometimes that means a new name, a new message, a new promise, and yeah, usually a fresh new look too. So when do you rebrand? Well, maybe your business has grown. Maybe the market moved on. Or maybe people still see your brand in a way that doesn't match who you are anymore. One famous example, Dunkin'. They dropped the donuts to sound faster, cooler, and more modern. That move told people we're not just donuts anymore. But let's clear something up. This isn't brand dynamics, that's about how your brand acts over time. It's more than a refresh, that's just a light touch-up. It's deeper than a redesign, that's mostly visuals, and it's not as intense as a full transformation, which changes the whole business. Rebranding is bold, it's exciting, but you should only do it when your old story just doesn't fit the future anymore. See you in the next one. We've got one last move left, brand transformation. Thank you. Hey everyone, we've reached the final part of this branding series. And yeah, we saved the biggest one for last, brand transformation. But before we get into that, let's quickly look back. First, we talked about brand dynamics, how a brand acts every day, how it shows up, and how it feels. After that came brand refresh, small changes to keep your brand modern and fresh. Then we had redesign, when you upgrade the visuals, new logo, new style, but you stay true to your core. Then came rebranding, if you remember, when you change how people see your brand. New message, new promise, new position. And now it's time for the big one, brand transformation. This is something else. This is not about how you look or sound. This is about deep change in how your company works, what it stands for, how the teams are built, and what value you bring to people. You go for this when your old story no longer fits, when the world has moved on and you haven't, or when your audience sees you in one way, but you've grown into something else. Sometimes it's simple, change or disappear. And this kind of change, it's not small. It's not a small update. It's not a logo. It's serious work, like open heart surgery. And yes, it's risky. If you don't do it right, your team gets lost, your fans walk away, and your brand loses meaning. That's why everyone, from the boss to the newest team member, must be on the same page. Strong example. Apple in the late 90s. They were just a small computer company not doing great. But they didn't just fix their design. They changed everything. Their vision, their team, their story, all of it. And that's how they became this global lifestyle brand. That's what really transformation looks like. And to be honest, that's why I made this series, because not every update is a rebrand, and not every rebrand changes the game. I just want to make this clear and simple, so we all understand what makes what when we talk about brand change. I hope this series helped or gave you a new way to look at your brand when it feels stuck.